Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, my name is Shay, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a 2025 reflection and a 2026 projection. I'm going to talk about the highs and the lows of the last year, and then I'm going to be talking about what I'm looking forward to for the next upcoming year. I did end up doing a journal entry today that was 11 pages. I journaled for 2 full hours today. It's been a minute since I've written in my journal. That's how it always goes. I don't journal as frequent as I want to, but when I do journal, I take the time to just sit down and get all of my thoughts out, and it felt really refreshing to be able to take the time to do that today. I am going to have my journal on standby because if I don't have a structure for this sit down chit chat video, then it's going to end up being like 2 hours long because I am just a chatty Cathy. So I am going to be referring to my journal, and I am so excited for the new year, but I am just as excited to sit down and talk to you guys about just what a crazy year. What an amazing year. I dare say that 2025 for me was the best year of my life. Let's just get right into it. Let's just dive right in. First, I quit smoking cigarettes at the beginning of the year in February. I smoked for almost 8 years. I had that habit, and I had tried to quit multiple previous times and ended up picking it back up. In the 25 years that I've been alive, that was the best decision I ever made, and I will forever be grateful for me deciding to do that for myself. It's going to be a decision that I benefit from for the rest of my life. That was also one of the most hard times for me. I was not an enjoyable person to be around. I was not very pleasant. I was extremely short-tempered for the first couple weeks. It affected my mood drastically. I felt like I needed to just lock myself in my bedroom. As soon as I would get home from work, I would try to avoid my boyfriend almost because he's the closest person to me in my life, and I did start to feel like I was taking it out on him and people in my life. I mean, I wasn't going around throwing tantrums and nothing too crazy. I could feel that it was a very emotionally hard time for me. I was also really, really anxious during this time, but I just had to keep reminding myself that just like anything in this life that's difficult, it is temporary and you will get through it. It was honestly a huge mental challenge. I really just had to put my mind to it. And within the first couple weeks, my only goal was to distract myself and keep myself busy. When I would have normally gone to smoke before, for example, before I would go to work, or when I would get home from work, or maybe after dinner, I would have to replace it with something else other than going out to smoke, whether it be continuing to do what I was going to do in the first place, like say I just got home from work. Instead of going to smoke, I would just get out of my work clothes and go about my evening. Or before work, instead of leaving earlier or taking the time to smoke, I would take more time in the morning to get ready. Or after I would get done eating dinner, instead of going out to smoke a cigarette, I would instead just either chill, relax, you don't have to always be doing something, or I would do the dishes, clean up after making supper, and then it would kind of just distract me for long enough that that craving would go away. But say I was just having a lazy day, watching some videos, watching a movie, whatever. Instead of going out to smoke, I would just push myself to continue watching my video or watching my movie. I definitely had a lazy phase during the withdrawals. I can't remember exactly what week that occurred, but it did get to the point where I would go to work, I would come home, I would do the minimal amount of cleaning, and then I would just hop right into bed and watch YouTube. But YouTube got me through quitting smoking cigarettes. And it got to the point where I was watching so much YouTube that I was like, wait, I enjoy YouTube so much. I enjoy consuming the content so much. How about I reverse the roles and maybe try creating the content just for funsies and, see where it takes me? And I have really enjoyed it. It's been such a creative outlet for me, and not to mention, it is the ultimate reason that I actually am now permanent non-smoker. In the past, I would end up picking it back up because I didn't, replace the bad habit with something good. But this time, I feel like starting my YouTube channel almost 9 months ago, I think was one of the best decisions too that I ever made, because it actually set in stone me quitting nicotine, and I didn't feel like I needed to pick it back up because I replaced it with something healthy and like a hobby. I would say that my only regret is that I didn't start making content sooner, because I remember wanting to do it a few times before. Like in 2016, when I first discovered YouTube and started watching some of the OG YouTubers and like travel vlogs, I was super into travel vlogs and even like makeup tutorials, even though I'm not even really a makeup girly. I just got so into YouTube, and I remember thinking, well, that would be fun. And then I remember early 20s, like 21, 22, thinking about wanting to do it again, because there's somebody that I went to school with in elementary, and they are now a successful content creator. And it made me think, well, like if they can do it, then I can too. And then I think there was one video by a specific creator that I watched, and she was doing like a Q&A, and somebody had asked, what advice would you give to aspiring influencers? I remember her saying something along the lines, and it really stuck with me, of if you want to do it, just do it and stop talking about it and just do it. Like you don't have to always have a master plan of how something is going to go down. You'd waste that time thinking of how you can start instead of just starting. And that was when I was like, okay, I should really start. And then I sat on the idea of starting for like 2 full years. And then it took me quitting smoking cigarettes to really be like, okay, well, I need to fill my time with something so I don't pick this habit back up. So reflecting back to when I did start YouTube, the first couple months, this is when things started to ease up and life started to be enjoyable again. And my whole existence became work, YouTube, eat, sleep, and repeat. I was feeling so inspired and motivated, and I would pour my whole heart into this newfound hobby of mine. At the time, I was working a job that was deteriorating my mental state. I was expected to work what I felt was a 3-person job at least. And when I wanted to take a vacation or use some PTO for a pre-planned day off to spend some time relaxing and recuperating, I would get slack. And when I finally brought up my concern for feeling overwhelmed and proposed, maybe hiring some more help to distribute the workload a little bit more, evenly, I was fed a line of bullshit saying that they couldn't afford it and that the budget wouldn't support it. Like, I'm not stupid, okay? I know dang well that they could have afforded to hire a second housekeeper. Whatever, I don't know. Good riddance. So I took it upon myself to look for another job and improve my situation by trying to find an employer that was going to support me and appreciate me. It felt like effortlessly, everything was starting to fall into place right onto my lap. Before I knew it, I was putting my 2 weeks in, and I started my new job in June this year. After that, everything changed. Boy, what a 360, you guys. It was crazy. I actually had the energy to do the things that I wanted to after work instead of feeling so mentally drained and exhausted and just hopping into bed and sleeping my life away. I actually had the energy to live a little and have some fun. I no longer dreaded going to work every single day, and surprisingly, for once, I was looking forward to going to work, which who would have thought that was even possible? I was truly happy, and it showed. I started taking more time and more pride in my appearance. I would get up early to try new hairstyles. And just like any job, I of course have my days where I'm just like, I don't want to be here. That is normal. But overall, this change, this new job that I got this year was for sure a decision that I have benefited from immensely and will continue to benefit from. I've been at this job for almost 8 months now, and I would say that still, like 95% of the time, I still feel like it's a very healthy work atmosphere, and I still look forward to going to work most days. Like, don't get me wrong, sometimes I'm like, I would much rather just stay in bed. It's early. Oh my gosh, it's still dark outside. But I still really do enjoy the job that I have. Like, what a relief, what a breath of fresh air. It got to the point where I would rarely think of smoking. And I didn't feel like I ever needed nicotine in my life ever again. This was such a freeing moment. I didn't feel like it was something that was hovering over my shoulder like the devil all the time. I started telling people that I had quit smoking cigarettes at the beginning of the year. I felt like I could actually share the good news with people in my life, because I knew that I wasn't going to pick it back up this time. Whereas in the past, where I had attempted to give up nicotine, I really wouldn't tell people around me. I didn't want them to be disappointed when I picked it back up. And it was like, I already knew that I was going to fail before I did. But this time I actually felt comfortable enough to tell the people in my life. And I would get responses like, I would have never guessed you were a smoker, good job, or keep up the good work, it's been this many years since I was a smoker, or I remember when my spouse quit, congrats. And the congratulations was honestly really nice and made me really happy. I started to have more hobbies again, like I had remembered having when I was a kid. I started singing a lot more, and I even posted a few singing videos, which was a really nerve-wracking, exciting time for me because I've always been a really shy, stage fright person when it comes to my singing voice, but it felt good to share my voice and get it out there, and I'm happy that I was brave enough to do that this year. I got back into art. I started baking again so much. I baked so many things this year. I made a homemade challah bread. I made a bunch of homemade muffin recipes. What else did I bake? I baked homemade dinner rolls for Thanksgiving. I baked ciabatta rolls. The other day I just baked garlic breadsticks to have on the side of a pasta dish, which were lovely, divine, by the way, so check that video out if you guys haven't yet. It's just a short and the recipe is in the comments. So good. I started baking with yeast for the first time ever. I made a peach cobbler in my crock pot. I got a crock pot this year. I got super back into baking and it was so fun. And I started diving into cooking a little bit more. I've always been a little bit better at baking than cooking, but I did a lot of cooking this year. I'm honestly curious to know how many hours I spent in the kitchen this year. The number would be really high. And all of this to say, I have also cut way back on alcohol, which was one of my goals for 2025. This year, I would always joke about how I felt like a grandma because I had such a hard time getting drunk because I just wouldn't drink enough. I would get tired and go to bed. I didn't really desire that feeling anymore. I stopped drinking multiple times a week and feeling like I needed to get drunk every single weekend because I had a hard week or life has been hard lately. I started facing my problems head on, and I came to the realization that to get past the fire, I just had to walk through it and actually face my problems instead of turning to alcohol anytime life would get hard. This all resulted in me actually enjoying when I would have a few drinks. I would cherish it more because it was no longer a routine, but more of an actual treat. I did have lows and I did have hard times this year, but overall, looking back, 2025 was a really good year. When I look back someday when I'm old and decrepit, 2025 very well might have been the turning point of my whole entire life. This year was a very transitional year for me, and I believe it changed the whole trajectory of my life. It was a rough year, but it was an extraordinary year. And I am so excited for 2026. I don't recall ever really getting excited for the new year, or at least not as excited as I am now. Every year in the past, it's like, okay, whatever, a new year, I have to make sure that I write the new year instead of the old year. But I didn't ever really get hype for the new year like I am this time. I just really can't wait to see where 2026 takes me. And I want to know what this year has in store for me. Like, I'm impatient. I just can't wait to see what opportunities come my way. And I also get really giddy like a kid when I think about strengthening my little family. And I take great pleasure in knowing that me and my boyfriend will continue to learn and grow together as we navigate this crazy life. This year, we will actually be celebrating our 8 years together, and I honestly cannot believe it. Time just goes by so fast. To sum up what I want for the new year, I want me and mine to be in good health and every day strive to be the healthiest versions of ourselves, both mentally and physically. I want to experience financial freedom this year and learn to eventually feel like I can live and not just survive. I want to push myself to greater heights and constantly be raising the bar for myself this year. I just want to show up for myself, guys. Like, one of the biggest goals that I have for myself is to have a healthier relationship with food. I don't really talk about this very much because I know that other people in the world have much more serious problems when it comes to food. And I know that that's a really touchy subject for some people. So I don't really touch on this very much. And also just because, like, who really wants to talk about the problems on camera? But, that's what this video is all about. And I want to have a healthier relationship with food going into the new year. I want to work on portioning and not binge. I wouldn't say that I binge all the time. It's not like a problem where I need like professional help, but I am aware enough to know that I do have a problem sometimes, and I do tend to binge sometimes, maybe when I'm feeling emotional or had a hard day or sometimes just simply bored. And that's why I've tried to stay more busy this year, because nothing good comes out of boredom, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. I would really like to get on my meal prep grind this year, and I was actually talking to my boyfriend about this earlier today. I don't want to come off as like toxic or unhealthy. My thoughts are very blunt. I'm just going to say that. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, and please don't take offense, because this is just my journey. But I want to get to the point where I don't feel like every single meal needs to be uber enjoyable. I don't need every single meal to be like gluttonous, gourmet, 5-star, dripping in cheese, unhealthy, fatty. Like sometimes, less is more. I want to get to the point where I can find meals that I like to meal prep that are good reheated, but are also just very simple, plain meals. Like, not everything has to be so crazy good. Not everything has to be mouth-watering, foodie approved. And that being said, like, meals like rice, broccoli, and meat. You can season the meat to taste good, but, some people would say that that's like a boring meal. But that's okay. Not everything has to be so exciting. And then I feel like the dinners that you make on weekends will be more enjoyable. You get to be in the kitchen for a couple hours and make a really nice, fancy, yummy meal that's super indulgent and just feels like you're treating yourself. I want to get on my meal prep grind and start eating more whole foods. I really want to do my research and find out what vegetables, what fruits are really, really good for females in specific. And also, I'm sorry about the lighting. The sun has gone down. Find the meals that I enjoy, and I'm also okay with like repeat meals personally. I know some people are like, no, we can't have the same thing for more than one day throughout the week. Like, no, I could eat this same meal for 2 to 3 days. So if I could do like meal prepping maybe 2 times a week and have good, clean foods for myself to heat up at work for lunch or dinners if my boyfriend's at work, something that's healthy that I can heat up. I want to cut back on saturated fats, processed foods. Like, I know I'm not going to cut back entirely, but I just want to make small changes in my life that will benefit me in the long run. One of the biggest problems that I have, I would say, is sugar and like processed sugars, candy bars, junk food. Like, I don't eat a lot of Hostess stuff, more so like candy bars are my weakness, you guys. That's my guilty pleasure, and I want to get to the point where I don't have those as much. I'm pretty sure people say that like those candy bars, like Snickers, all those yummy candy bars, Twix, Kit Kats, love me some candy. I could go on and rattle off all my favorite candy bars, but that's not the point. The point is, as I'm pretty sure people have literally said that that stuff is addictive. I don't want to be held down by any addictions. The only addiction I'm okay with having is coffee. But I do want to not feel like I need to drink coffee every day either this next year. I want to find like healthier desserts that I could fill that sugar craving without feeling like I need like a highly processed candy bar. So like I said, I want to work on my portioning, and I noted in my journal, it's okay to go crazy every once in a while, say for a movie day, Thanksgiving, a celebration, or even on a weekend from time to time. But I just need to practice balance. That's going to be the theme of 2026 is balance. That was a big point in my journal entry today. I said I want to be intentional and get more whole foods and cut back on processed sugars like candy bars, junk food. I need to practice moderation. And I feel like I would appreciate a Snickers or a Butterfinger or like a candy bar more if I didn't have them as much, because I feel like I have them and I'm like, ooh, that was good. And then I'm like, I feel like I need another. Like, that wasn't satisfying enough. I'm not really too concerned with the number on the scale. If you guys have seen any of my past videos, you know that I don't care how much I weigh. I couldn't care less with really my appearance. I love myself. I don't feel like I'm ugly. I don't feel like I'm, fat or any of those negative self-talk things. I love myself, but at the end of the day, I do want to be healthy and I want to feel strong. So I want to work towards being strong. I want to look back at the end of the year and say, wow, you worked out a lot. You kept that in your routines. And then I talked about how I want to continue to pour into my cup and enjoy my hobbies. I don't want to ever again in my life stop doing the things that I love. I found that from 20 to like 23, I just completely stopped enjoying life. I stopped having hobbies, and I'm sure that happens to other people when you're in survival mode. You just lose your individuality, lose your identity. Sometimes when you first get thrown into adulthood, you stop doing the things that you love, and I never want to do that again. I want to stay doing my hobbies this year, and I want to discover other hobbies. So I want to continue singing, I want to continue music, art, self-care, and I'd also like to expand on all of those things and maybe do some other types of art, like sketching again. I used to sketch when I was in high school, so I would love to get back into that. Maybe some watercolors when I scroll. A lot of the times what I'm watching is either like food videos, or there's a few artists that I follow that do watercolors and also pottery. I think it would be really fun to maybe take a pottery class this year. I would love to get back into embroidery. I used to do embroidery with my grandma. She also taught me how to do crocheting. I'm not as good at crocheting, but I would like to get back into it just so I like keep that skill, because I think that those type of hobbies are just as much skills as they are hobbies. Because, if the world, I'm not a doomsday prepper, but if the world ends, I want to know how to be able to crochet a sweater or scarf if need to be. I think that it's just one of those lost trades that need to be brought back, and I have been seeing people bringing those things back, and my grandma would be so proud if she was here. Another thing I want to try is cross stitching. I think that it's similar to embroidery, but I would really like to try doing that this year. I also want to get a UV lamp so I can start doing my nails and actually have them last, because every single time I paint my nails, they start like coming off within the next day, or even sometimes on the same exact day. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Even if I spend 4 hours watching movies and letting my nails dry, I'll end up going and doing dishes like 8 hours later, and some of it will come off. I'm just a busy girly and I use my fingers a lot, and regular nail polish is not cutting it. So I think it would be a fun idea to get a UV lamp this year and teach myself how to do like gel shellac nails that will actually last me. Another thing I want to do for self-care is get better and better at hair. I want to continue to try new hairstyles and just take the time on myself, because for me, if I look good, I feel good. If I took the time on myself to get dolled up, even if it's just trying a new hairstyle, or I painted my toenails, like even something that nobody can see because I'm wearing shoes, it does truly make me feel better. And I want to continue to do those things. Another goal that I have that I focused a lot on in this journal entry is I want to continue making content, but I want to most importantly continue to enjoy making videos. I always want it to be something that I have fun doing. I don't want it to ever stress me out. And I want to continue to learn and grow and just live out this new adventure. Another goal that I put down is that I want us to get a car this year. We have not had a car for a couple years. If you guys don't know, we don't have a car. I walk to work, he walks to work, we walk to get our groceries. We do not live in a big city, so sometimes it can be a little bit tricky if we want to go on a date, or just day-to-day life is a little bit more complicated not having a vehicle. That being said, I am okay with it. I'm not complaining. I have learned to enjoy my walks, but I do want the freedom of having a vehicle again. So it is one of our goals, both of us, to try and get at least one car. 2 would be a bonus. That would be very nice to both have a car of our own, but 1 car is a must for our New Year's resolutions. Because I just feel like more opportunities would open up if I had a vehicle, and a lot more freedom. Like I'd be able to go get a gym membership, a swimming membership. I love to swim. I would love, especially if I'm going to be focusing on my health this year, being able to go to a gym, go in a sauna, swim some laps, do some weight training, being able to have that and not just do my workouts in my apartment, which I don't mind an at-home workout at all. I'm not better than that, but it would be very, very nice to be able to just drive to the gym and then on my way home drive and pick up some groceries and not have to carry them. I'm getting to the point we need it. It's a must this year. And another crazy little idea that I was thinking is I want to look into possibly working at the ski resort this next winter. There are a lot of reasons why I have been playing with this idea. For one, I want to go skiing again, but it's so damn expensive. I found out that if I work at the ski resort, I get a free pass and I get a buddy pass. So I could find a friend that wants to come with me, you know, on my days off and come skiing or snowboarding with me, and they get a free pass, which is insane. Not only would it give me the ability to have that hobby back, it's great exercise. It would be really, really fun to work at the ski resort. Who knows, maybe one day I could do like ski patrol and have a dog that comes to work with me, like a golden retriever. That would be so fun, you guys. That I think you have to get your EMT to be able to do that, but it's an idea I've been playing with. I think it would be so fun. I could like take the shuttle to work, and I'm really hoping that I'm able to do that because I also think that it would be fun content, you guys. Imagine a workday vlog or, you know, come to work with me YouTube short, but I'm working at a ski resort. I think that would be so fun. Another goal I have for the new year is I want to try to get new couches and make my apartment feel more like home. We have old rinky-dinky couches. The frames are starting to have some issues too. Like the exterior hasn't been the prettiest for some time now. Like it's like a pleather material and they started to peel a little bit, and so we have to leave sheets on our couches, which is okay. Like, I mean, I do get a little bit embarrassed when I have guests over, but at the same time, it's like I know that nobody's actually really going to judge me because they love me for me. But I would like to have a little bit more of a comfortable home. Those couches kill my back. It's hardly even relaxing to lay on them because for me, it just hurts my back. I want to have some nice new couches, no hand-me-downs. I want to invest in some nice furniture for my apartment this year, as well as, like I said, I want to make my apartment feel more like home. That includes getting more things to stimulate my cats. I think that if my cats were happier, the atmosphere of my home would be happier. And I just want them to have the best life possible. I want them to be as happy as they can be. And I feel like if I were to get them some more cat towers this year, some like self-play toys, more lounge areas throughout the apartment, I think that they would really benefit from that. It would help their mental health. And I also think it would be fun to get strollers and backpacks, like the little cat plexiglass dome backpacks and leashes, and try to harness train my cats this year. I think that would be so fun because then we would be able to take them outside safely. And I think that would help their mood a lot, being able to leave the house. Sometimes I get so emotional thinking of like, they just are at home always. Like, I kind of feel bad for cats. At least dogs get to leave and like go on walks and hikes and adventures and vacations with their owners. But like cats, they just are home all the time. And like, I don't want to cry. I will seriously get emotional thinking about this. I want to give my cats a better life. I feel guilty sometimes. I'm like, I just go to work and they stay home all the time. How is that fair? So I would really like to try to get them harness trained so I can take them out on little walks. They would love it. I live by a nature trail and I feel like they would love it. Hopefully. Georgie might have a hard time in the beginning, but I think he would see his brother going on walks and he'd be like jealous. He'd be like, I want in on this. So really want to do that. That's one of my biggest goals for the year. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but I think it would be totally cool to get more content creation tools. I would love to get a camera. If I'm in the position to be able to get two, that would also be really cool, but one will suffice. I definitely want to get one camera this year for sure. I think that it would help my quality for one if I got a camera, and I think that it would just make me take myself a little bit more seriously if I was doing it on a camera. Like, I'm not saying you can't do this on a phone, you can, but I think that it would probably make my life a little bit easier too if I had a camera. So definitely want to get a camera. I think it would be cool to get mics so my audio can be like top tier for the people that watch my videos. I want to get a few lights for situations like this where it's like, it's kind of dark. If I could just pop a light behind me, that would be ideal. I would love to get a laptop. I think that it would be so cool. Like, I have a laptop, but I tried using it for editing and it's just too old. Like, I don't think it's even capable of doing things like that because it's such an old laptop. So I would love to get a new laptop for myself that could possibly like improve my content. Maybe it would give me other tools for editing, and I would love to get another tripod or two. The girls that I watch, they have more than one tripod, and honestly I kind of hate this tripod that I have. I have some beef with this tripod, so I would like to get a couple others and just like play around and find what tripod is my favorite. I would like to get some hard drives so I don't have to continue to keep everything on my phone. So sorry, my phone died earlier. I ended up making some dinner and doing some editing, so it's been a few hours, but I wanted to end out this video. I want to do everything in my power this year to work towards one day getting monetized and making YouTube and social media a full-time career one day. I so look forward to the new year, and I could sit here and talk about how excited I am, but instead I'm just gonna start living it. It's almost the new year. Thank you so much for watching this video if you did. If not, I kind of made this video for myself. I'm really excited to watch this video back next new year and see how much did I accomplish and did I exceed my expectations? What else did I accomplish that I didn't know even was going to happen? Because sometimes life will bless you with surprises. So we shall see. I'm really excited to check things off my list and come back to this video in a year and reflect on it. But with that being said, Happy New Year, and I'll see you next year.